We are live. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Another episode of the W Key Podcast coming at you guys. With you as always, my name is Josh, aka J Frosty. Below me is my brother, Matt, aka Technique. And
Hello.
we are here to talk to you about gaming and gaming-related stuff. Because, I mean, it's awesome, right?
I agree.
I mean,
Concur.
and there's a lot going on right now, too. So.
Indubitably. Yeah. That's a lot of good shit going on.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy right now. I mean, we're getting ever closer to the next gen consoles. We're going to talk pretty heavily about that tonight. It's pretty much going to be the main focus, probably.
Was not able to pre-order a PS5. I just want to throw my hat in the ring. I tried, did not succeed.
I think you're with like 90% of the world.
No, you know what's mad? What pissed me off though? Like, so first, a lot of things. One, they said it was going to be the next day when they first announced it, but retailers just pushed out that night, and everyone freaked out. And two, I was able on Best Buy, I was able to get into my cart, but when I would go to my cart, I would get an error. So it was there, but I couldn't get to the checkout. And the third thing that pissed me off is today I just went like, oh, let's go look at Best Buy for Xboxes. I if I want to, I could buy an Xbox. The pre-orders were there. I could get to my cart and they could check out. I'm like, God damn it, it's not the one I wanted. Why is it so easy to get an Xbox when I couldn't get a PlayStation?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy. Isn't Xbox doing their like there's some sort of like pay as you go option, right?
I don't know. I just only saw Best Buy's like pre-order, and I didn't go to the payment page. I just clicked it to see if it would actually work or if something.
I have to look it up.
Oh, it's broken.
Yeah, I was looking into it because like they have this option where like you pay like $45 a month, and that gives
I think you can. My friend
Xbox Games Pass included, so it's like literally like you're paying like $20 a month for your Xbox. I don't know.
My
I don't know the exact numbers.
Are gonna get like I think he's planning on getting an Xbox. He was talking about that. He's saying how it's turned into like a little like it's like a monthly phone bill essentially.
Yeah.
You pay X amount of money a month to pay off your system, and I didn't know Games Pass was also included. But yeah, I definitely heard something about that.
It's kind of cool, I guess. How's your ankle?
That's not a bad idea.
You know, healing up from your sleeping injury.
Fine. I've been out running, even though I will say, knock on wood, I kind of went running today, and I feel I don't know something kind of doing weird things on the same foot. So I was like, oh, God. If I wake up tomorrow not being able to walk, I'm just going to be livid.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I mean, we're transitioning into fall. It's getting cold out. I mean, I don't know for you guys, but temperatures in the mornings are like 45 degrees here.
Yeah, it's Chile. Carly walked to work and she's like, oh my God, it's cold. It's like, where's the warning? There's really no warning. It's warm and then it's just boom.
And it just smacks you.
I mean, there you go.
Yeah, it's crazy. We're gonna be getting all the foliage and all the leaf peepers and everything like that. So it's tough though.
Someone I know already got roped into apple orchard or something. So apple orchards and pumpkin orchards and a bunch of fall stuff.
The classic basic bitch activities.
Oh yeah,
apple picking and cider.
With the Han Solo look, probably the vest and the boots and the.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. So, yeah, I mean, it's winter's right around the corner. That means the holiday season's right around the corner. That means new consoles are right around the corner. So like I said in the beginning, we're probably going to talk mainly about the new consoles. There's been a lot of information. Well, not a lot. We have the full picture, I guess, is the best way to look at it now. We
pretty much got everything laid out for us instead of speculation and stuff like that.
Yeah, so we've got all the information, all the pertinent information that matters. We've had the specs for a while. We finally got the prices for everything. We have the release dates for everything. So now it's just a little bit of opinion. It's a little bit of speculation, a little bit of how you feel about this, how you feel about that. And, that's probably what's going to make up the majority of this episode. We are going to talk about the PlayStation event briefly as well, because that ties in to this as well. So, yeah, I mean, we do have a few things off the top. I mean, one interesting thing, I'm sure there's plenty of interesting things that have happened, but for me, and I think for us, really, one of the more interesting things that happened recently was Microsoft bought Bethesda. So if you guys aren't familiar with Bethesda and the games they have, the Dishonored franchise, Wolfenstein, Elder Scrolls games, all the Fallout, Doom. Wait, they don't own. They have Doom, really?
Yeah. You haven't seen
Really?
all the memes going around of like Master
Yeah.
Chief and the
Oh,
Doom guy?
that's
Like, oh,
true.
what's up, brother? Finally, we
Yeah,
can do something. So a lot of people are hoping. I don't know how or why they're gonna do it, but they're hoping for some cross universe thing with Master Chief and the
that'd
Doom
be cool.
guy.
So yeah, Doom, Starfield, Evil Within, and Prey. So, um, a lot of great game. Well, there has been a lot of great games out of those.
Say
Those
before we get too
series.
far into it, I just want to ask you a question because Mize sent me the post about the thing of Bethesda getting
Yeah,
bought out, and I was like, oh, now Microsoft has like a few exclusives versus Sony's, and we got a little like talk about it. He thinks that like Microsoft with their exclusive and Bethesda's exclusive are gonna blow Sony out of the water. And he also like included, the Game Pass. So having the Game Pass, having Microsoft exclusives that they had, and having Bethesda games they're gonna blow them out of the water. And I said, so my answer, I'm just gonna ask like, what do you think about that? My answer was, I said at the very best, I think this will make it a level playing field. I don't think Xbox is gonna blow Sony out of the water. So I'm just curious what your thought of like the purchase is. It gonna catapult Microsoft like my things to going to, or where you stand, I guess.
it's hard to say because so there's kind of three facets of that for me. There's Xbox Game Pass. That is no question the best deal in gaming. Like you can get hands down. You pay the $10 or $20 a month, whatever it is, for the ultimate. That you get it. You get basically games
Like
on
$10 for
everything.
basic, I think 15 for ultimate.
Yeah, and so you get everything on your computer. You can do their streaming service that they're trying to do as well. You can get that on your phone and everything. I believe with that ultimate version. Um, there are like new games on that package in the ultimate. So I mean, it's hands down the best deal in gaming as far as content's concerned. So I think, and we'll talk a little bit about it later. And PlayStation unveiled something similar in their PS event. I just don't think it holds a candle to Xbox Games Pass. I don't really think they're trying to make it hold a candle. I think it's just their kind of first toes into the water. From a game standpoint, there's a lot of Bethesda has a lot of great games, have a lot of great series, but let's just look at them. I mean, Dishonored hasn't released a game in what, like 3-4 years probably.
In a while, yep, I agree.
Wolfenstein, the
Kinda
most
same boat.
recent one, was not received very well, if I remember correctly. If I'm thinking about the right game, Elder,
What the new? It's like Wolfenstein Youngblood or something like that. It's
yeah,
like new
yeah,
stuff than what happened the first two.
yeah,
I
like
think.
that one wasn't received all that well, if I remember correctly.
Mhm.
I've never played them, unfortunately. I've heard they're really good. I haven't played them. So, but from what I remember, it wasn't received that well. Elder Scrolls, it's been 10 years since Skyrim. We've been waiting on Elder Scrolls 6 forever. They just keep pumping the stuff out for Elder Scrolls Online, and that's not even owned by Bethesda. So, that's a whole different developer.
Elder Scrolls is.
Elder Scrolls Online is not owned by
Oh,
Bethesda.
online.
Yeah,
Okay.
ESO, and that's what they're putting. That's what the most content's being pumped out for right now is
Yeah.
ESO, and that's not even owned by Bethesda. So you've got that. Fallout. Some would say the last good Fallout was Fallout New Vegas. I liked 4. I thought 4 was pretty good. I did not play 76, but I heard 76 was just kind of a hot piece of garbage. So
I heard it's pretty junky when it first came out. I don't know where it's
yeah.
at now, but yeah.
So that's sort of a swing and the miss. Doom is fantastic. The last 2 Dooms, the most recent 2 Dooms have gone off like gangbusters. The most recent one is heralded. It's considered one of the best games of the year. And they look fantastic. They play great. They're just a hell of a good time to play. So that's a win. I've never played Starfield.
Well, that's their up and coming game. That's the one that
yeah.
That was
Their
what was
codename
teased at no, was that teased for the Microsoft
I think
event
so.
back then, or the Xbox event? Oh, yeah, that's
possibly,
their
yeah.
one that they're teasing.
Yep, that's true. So that's yet to be seen. Evil Within, haven't played those games either, so I don't remember when the recent one came out, the most recent one, and then Prey has been a few years since the most recent one came out as well.
Mm.
So like there is gold there. I mean, there has been gold in the past. There has been fantastic, generational defining games in those series in the past. As of late, they have not been doing so great with those series. And I would say that PlayStation, as of late, with their exclusives, have been doing a lot better job. So their track record of being successful is more recent. They have more success more recently than all of those ones do. So, and there I would sort of give it to Sony. And then the final piece of the puzzle is really just like the systems and the cost. And I have, we have some stuff to talk about that as far as when we get to the talking. But, I do think, and I'll elaborate on it later, but I do think the Xbox One S is going to be the best-selling console, of this generation.
Mm-hmm.
I do, for a couple of reasons, and we'll talk about it when we get there. But
yeah,
I would not say, I don't think I'm with Mize either. I don't think they're going to crush Sony.
Mm-hmm.
It might give them a leg up. I think they might be a little bit above them. But I tend to lean more conservative like you. I would say they're probably closer to leveling the playing field than absolutely blowing the playing field up, just because those games are all great, and there's so many good games in those lineups, but they just haven't done it successfully. Like, oh shit, okay, like that's big. It's been like, okay, those have all had really good games, in the last five years, but the more recent ones haven't been all that fantastic.
Yeah, you hit on exactly like some of the main points I was going to have. First off, for me, like Game Pass, yes, Game Pass is a great thing, but I just kind of I'm on the website browsing it just to kind of get a better understanding of it, and a lot of it are games that are, I don't know, games I've already played, or older games, or the new games that they do drop in are kind of the iffy ones. Like the gangbuster stuff isn't getting like dropped straight to Game Pass. Game Pass is a great thing, but
some of that's changing with the release, because like all the things that they teased in the Xbox event, all of those are going straight to Game Pass right away.
Yeah, but I remember seeing some of them.
Not all of them are fantastic. They're
like, where I saw one, like Tell Me Why. That was the weird kind of. Yeah. So yes, they're releasing new stuff to it, but it's nothing that blows my mind. So I agree, Game Pass is a really good thing, but like what's on there is older stuff I probably already played, or newer things that I'm not super interested in. So while it's a really nice thing, I don't know, it just doesn't, I guess, it doesn't sell me all that much. That's like one thing I kind of want to say about Game Pass. But exactly what you said about like Fallout, even I guess mainly Fallout is one I look at. Fallout, it's like its name carries a lot of weight, but like you said, the past few games have been very subpar. Like, Fallout Vegas, New Vegas, Fallout, or Fallout 3 were probably the past two good games that everyone really loves. So while they got the name Fallout under Bethesda, it's just itself hasn't put out anything great or anything amazing in a while. So I agree with that 110%. They got the name, but they still need to come out and put out good games, because they haven't recently.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and all these other stuff. I mean, Dishonored, like, hasn't been a while. I haven't played any of these games and haven't put anything out in a long time. The only one thing out of that entire list that I'm looking at right now that would make me buy an Xbox, no doubt, is if Elder Scrolls 6 is Xbox exclusive.
Yep.
I would 110%, no doubt, buy an Xbox just to play that single game, unless it comes to PC, which I assume it would. I feel like up until now, every Elder Scrolls game has been released on PC also.
Because that's one of the big facets of keeping it alive for so long. I mean, you can play Skyrim on the PC now, and it'll look like it's a new gen game. Just because there's so many
if it comes out, on PC, I'll just get on PC, obviously. But if it's only on Xbox, Elder Scrolls 6 already will have my money somehow, some way, because I would have to play that. There's no way. That's one game in that thing that I feel like gives them a big leg up here.
And for people like us, I think that's where Microsoft sort of shoots himself in the foot, is we have a PC or we could go console. My guess is, because it's a Microsoft-owned subsidiary, they're going to go to PC as well.
100%,
So, for us, like, there's no real driving factor with crossplay becoming more and more common. There's really no
I mean,
You
we'll
know,
buy money that the money we spend for the game will go Microsoft. So
yeah,
to them, it's a win. But yeah, it's not going
we're
to
not getting a
the
console,
console. Yeah.
potentially. So yeah, I think it's closer. I do. I mean, that's a big
Yeah, for
move.
sure.
Bethesda purchasing Bethesda was a big deal. Now maybe if you got something like through in like BioWare, if they were able to buy like BioWare or something like that, that would be like those would be some more icings on the cake.
I mean, that's even this is all even if whatever Bethesda puts out becomes Xbox only. I
Yeah,
saw a post on Instagram or Twitter somewhere where they said something about console exclusivity will just it'll change on case by case basis. I think is basically what
probably.
they
Yeah.
said.
I
So
mean,
that's
games
that's
like
not even to say that everything here that we're talking about is going strictly to Xbox. Like some of
yeah.
these things could also be on the PS4. We don't know. We don't know what they're going to do.
I mean, you're missing out on half of the gaming market revenue stream, or a third. You assume if in a perfect world it'd be Xbox would have a third, PlayStation would have a third, and then PC would have a third. Roughly speaking,
Yeah.
you're missing out on a third of revenue based on by keeping it Xbox exclusive. And
Hmm.
I mean, PlayStation. That actually brings up an interesting thought that I hadn't really thought about. PlayStation's been comfortable in doing that with their exclusive games because they really cornered the market pretty hard this generation. What happens when when Xbox either levels it or overtakes them in this next generation, if that were to happen, and they can't hang their hat on the fact that 90% of console players are playing on a PlayStation, and their revenues are down, and they have to look at maybe opening up some of those games and
Hmm.
taking the exclusivity away. Like, that's an interesting thought too. I don't know that there's much precedent in the past for that happening. Um, really other than Horizon and Death Stranding. I mean, that's happened recently. They went to
Yeah.
PlayStation. They went to PC, but
See?
not Xbox. But I don't know. It's an interesting thought to see what would happen if PlayStation were in dire straits. If Sony got their shit kicked in by Xbox, like Mai says, do they lift some of that exclusivity on some of those new and upcoming games? Who knows? I mean, I guess that's to be seen. I guess at this point.
I even still like I still like Microsoft before they bought Bethesda. Like, what even are their exclusive game that people are hyped? People are still just saying Halo, and that's
Fable and
it.
Halo, really,
I
are
have
the big
Fable,
two.
something like that.
So,
Yeah, and
I mean, if
I just don't.
Starfield, if Starfield,
Yeah, if this is some amazing game that's only
yeah,
on Xbox, then obviously that catapult right into the equation of things. But
yeah. So,
we'll have to see.
yeah, I mean, it's worth checking out. It's worth keeping an eye on because it definitely, the game to game exclusivity is definitely going to shape things. And then obviously whatever games that Bethesda has in the pipeline, or whatever the games that they're, obviously they probably have games in the pipeline already. We'll be seeing those sooner rather than later. So it'll be interesting to see what's going on, what's happening, what games they're bringing out. That'll really tell, what this is going to shape up to be. Because I mean,
I
if they
will
if
say,
they bring a new Dishonored, a new Elder Scrolls, a new Fallout, and even a new Prey within the first maybe year
yeah,
of Xbox releasing, like those, that. I mean, exclusive to exclusive, that pretty much levels the playing field for the most part.
yeah. I mean, yeah. If they bring out like new versions of like all this list and it's only on Xbox, it'll do well. But I will say, I mean, Microsoft's making some plays because they bought Bethesda and then they also bought that Obsidian Games. I'm
Yep.
pretty sure we remember talked about that. Like they made Outer Worlds for people who played that. That's a lot of fun, and
Yep.
they're developing that new game. I can't remember what that new game was called that we talked about. That looks really cool. That's for Xbox only,
Yeah, I remember
but they're out here buying two studios that are putting out good stuff, so they could be setting up a good future. I mean, maybe the overtake doesn't happen this generation, or maybe it does, but like later on in this generation happens in the next gen console. But we'll have to
the
see.
next gen
Next,
consoles.
yeah, next gen times two.
So speaking of next gen consoles, it is next gen mania currently right now. We're basically in the final stretches until the releases.
Yep.
Xbox is being released on November 10th. PlayStations are being released on November 19th. I believe those are correct dates. Last I
Yeah.
checked. So we're, a month and 2 months, a little less than 2 months away. So it's gearing up. Everything's known basically now. I mean, the only thing that's really unknown is all the exact launch titles, I think. But even that is pretty much parsed out based on the two events. You can kind of put everything together. But I mean, we're going to talk first about the PS5 event that happened, just because it was interesting. There was some new stuff, and then there was just some expanded stuff from games that we already knew were coming. Final Fantasy 16. There's a new Final Fantasy coming. Looks good. I just what I saw in the event looked cool. I haven't played a Final Fantasy since like 10. So I haven't had a PlayStation probably that long. So it's just been a while since I played a game, so I don't really have a frame of reference for the most recent games. I know, what was it, 14 or 15?
Yeah, I played 15.
A lot of people loved most recently.
Yeah, 15 was fun. I mean, this one, like the trailer looked kind of interesting. It looked pretty kind of dark and gritty, which
the main character
or massive war going on there.
A main person, his name is Joshua, so it's gonna be a good game. That. So
no, I will say a lot of people are kind of like making fun of like the British accent voice actors that for everyone going on. Like it's just, but yeah,
it's from a Japanese game creator company, and all the characters have very Japanese characteristics, and then they have English accents. So
yeah, it's like interesting.
So
but it should be good. They put out consistent stuff. I mean, that's like one exclusive for Sony that I think is really good. There's still a massive Final Fantasy fan base out there. So
and it's been a good game pretty much year
for it.
Every release has been a pretty good game. Release over release. Like there's been a few that haven't gone that well, but I mean, there's never been one that's been an absolute dumpster fire, to my knowledge.
Yeah, I don't think so. No.
Spider-Man, Miles Morales. We got some gameplay footage, some cutscene, basically apart from what I'm assuming is the kind of very beginning of the game. So I'll start off by saying it looks fantastic. Like it looks good. The music is great. The fighting looks very fluid and really interesting. And there's a lot of cool camera angles when you're fighting and web slinging and through the cutscenes and stuff like that. So like all of that's really great. A couple things that I've started to notice and that I'm sort of made a point of, for me at least, is a lot of people for this next gen, I think a lot of people were expecting a bigger jump in graphics, like graphic fidelity and like how everything looks. But I think people are sort of forgetting that it's not so much an emphasis on graphics, it's an emphasis on high frame rate. So I wouldn't say we've hit the tip of what we can do graphically. I just think this generation was more about bringing the consoles closer to par with the PCs as far as frame rate, and not so much, juicing, the graphics up like 10, 15, 20% better than what it was in the old games. Because, I mean, you look at games being released on the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X now, now the developers have had, 6, 7, 8 years or however long it's been to work with these systems. They know how to optimize the games really well. Ghost of Tsushima looked really good. There's a lot of other games that looked fantastic on the Xbox One X. So, you're not getting the big bump in graphics. This gen is more about, or this coming gen is more about that increase in frame rate. And I think a lot of people are forgetting about that. So that's something I kind of thought. So I was looking, I was like, it looks good. Like, it looks really good. Yeah. But obviously it's not like, holy shit, like this is like blow my pants off, like graphically.
Well, it's also, it was a streamed event, was it not?
Yeah.
So, what was the stream?
Well, I get it. Yeah, that's true too. And that's where that's kind of the detractors for a couple of the other 2 points. Based on the stream I was watching, it definitely wasn't 100 FPS or close to it, based on my eyes, and given the volume of people watching, but even like the fact that it's Sony, like, they probably had unlimited bandwidth and whatever traffic through the servers. So they could have pumped, or they were pumping, the stream is to the quality limits. But I mean, just watching it, you could tell. I mean, I could at least. I felt like I could tell that it wasn't close to 100 FPS.
Yeah.
There was even chops in the cutscenes. Like the cutscenes weren't fluid. They weren't. You could see some hitches here and there. And granted, I said this about the first PS5 event and the Xbox event. It could be my internet. It could be a lot of things. We're not seeing it directly. 1-to-1. We're seeing it through something else.
Yeah.
But it's still, it makes you think a little bit. I don't. Yeah. I just.
I just hope like people don't. I guess. I mean, all these consoles, all these stats that we have. It can get up to XYZ. It can push out XYZ.
Those are the key words.
I just hope people don't expect every game to be released at the top tier, because that's not like what we're gonna get. You're gonna the developers of games can choose not to max the game out all the way. They can set it at wherever they want, and then this is what we make. This is what we're comfortable doing. Blah 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 blah.
And you're not gonna get that high rate from indie developers or from smaller developers.
No,
like the only ones really probably going to be able to utilize those high frame rates are the big AAA developers.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of games that'll come out that are gangbuster games from smaller studios, and they might not have the resources to max the frame rate out, and that's just that's an unfortunate. I'm just
hoping.
Effect.
Yeah, I just hope like not too many people think like out of the box they're gonna get a machine, and every game they get is just gonna be 1440p 140 hertz. Just why is that not happening? But so I just hope that people understand that some things are not going to be as crisp as some might think. But,
and I think some people probably are having a hard time wrapping their head around that, because the up to 120 FPS is the big thing. They're not saying every game at 120 FPS. They're saying every game is playable up to 120 FPS. Since you're like, so you got to parse those words out a little bit. Harry Potter. So we talked about it like 4 episodes ago, probably.
Yeah.
There've been a lot of teased information.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah, it did. I mean,
like when you first brought it up, you're like, "Oh, this is kind of like speculation, blah blah blah," and then they fucking dropped it on us.
It looks cool. I mean, it's like called Harry Potter, like Hogwarts Legacy or something like that.
Yeah. 1800s takes place. So it's like anyone that's like likes the Harry Potter realm, but they don't actually like Harry Potter himself and his friends and whatnot, you're gonna get a chance to be a wizard at Hogwarts way before his time. So don't worry, there's gonna be none of those characters. It's just gonna be you making your character and going to Hogwarts.
And it almost looks like it's going to follow you maybe after graduation, because in the trailer they talk about like your legacy will be not just here at Hogwarts, like it'll be everywhere. And either you're going to go places during your 7 years at Hogwarts or however long it is, or you're going to graduate and go places. The story will take you away after you graduate. Like that's kind of cool too. That's an interesting facet of the game. Again. Choppy video,
I think I remember seeing a fight scene that was kind of like, am I lose my mind here?
It was a little rough on the eyes. I was super excited, but I'm like, oh no, please be better. And it's from WB, I think, WB Games, which they're the ones that do all the Batman games.
Arkham, really great games.
So those games have all been fantastic. So I not really too worried. But we'll see. The thing that bothers me, or not bothers me, the thing that I am questioning is it going to be a PS5 exclusive? If so, that sucks, because I was hoping it would come to PC or even Xbox potentially. I haven't really decided myself personally if I'm going to get one of the consoles right away, but this was a game I was actually pretty excited to play.
PS4. I thought it was PS4 exclusive. Well, I mean, obviously could be on the PlayStation, on PC, but I'm pretty sure
it was on the event, so like that's why they didn't say it anywhere.
This one, I thought I saw something at the end, but I guess not. I mean, right here I'm looking real quick at Wikipedia. It says this game will be released for Windows, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X/S in 2021.
It's interesting that it was at the PlayStation event.
Yeah, I thought for sure I saw something at the end, but I guess not.
Yeah, because I didn't see anything, and that's why I was like, I don't see anything. I don't see what as far as it being exclusive or not, or what. And so I was like, is it going to be PS5 exclusive? I assumed because it was at the PS5 event that it was a PS5 exclusive, but know, if it's not, that's great too, because
Huh,
that would have been sad.
that's,
I would have been super
that's
sad
cool.
about that. But
Yeah, it's kind of cool making for everything. I swear to God, I thought of something at the end. But yeah, yeah, I think it looks like I thought it looked really good. I think it's gonna be a really fun game. I think I was streaming at the time, and one of my viewers sent me a link. And I watched it, and then he said he got kind of like Fable vibes. I was like, oh yeah, big time. It kind of
yeah,
seems like a Fable esque game, in which I'd be totally down for because Fable is a really great game. So taking kind of the Hogwarts thing and giving like a Fable skin, I think would be a lot of fun. So
yeah,
this game's on my radar. I'm really looking forward to this game. Definitely gonna get it, I think. Well, I'll do the usual see some reviews or something like that, but it's something that jumped like to the top of my list of I gotta keep an eye out for this game because it looked great, looked like a lot of fun. I am one person who I enjoy, the Hogwarts idea, but I didn't want to just be thrown into like you're Harry Potter, you
yeah.
survived the attack by blah 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 blah. I want to make my own dude, go do my own thing, do
Harry
my own shit.
Potter.
Yeah, so I'm really excited to be able to do my own thing in the Hogwarts realm.
Yeah, I think I'm right there with you. I think, I was pretty excited from this game even when it was just kind of rumored when we started.
Yeah.
It's been rumored for a while, and then we talked about it because it was a little bit more info that had came out, 4 or 5 episodes ago. I can't remember when it was,
Mhm.
but even back then I was like, this, I'm interested. I'm pretty excited for this. And now, we've got a legit thing, and we've seen some footage from it, and yeah, I'm right there. I'm like, bring me to Hogwarts. I want to be a wizard.
Mhm.
You're a
Yep,
wizard,
for sure.
Harry.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm gonna become a wizard.
so yeah, so I'm pretty excited about that. They did some Cold War, Black Ops Cold War campaign footage. It looks good. I guess, like I said, it's Call of Duty. I mean, it's
Mhm.
looking as good as I guess as it can. You know, the story, I'm assuming, is going to be really good. Black Ops has always done really good stories and really good campaigns. From what's going on with the multiplayer alpha right now, it has me a little shaky on the rest of the game, the multiplayer and everything like that. But I think the one big thing that people are forgetting is this is a true alpha.
Mhm.
This is a true, I wouldn't say early stage, but this is a true alpha. This is not a finished, polished product. We've been used to getting limited access to, the basically the promotional beta that's been out. When we got Modern Warfare, they opened that up like a month before release,
It's
and
pretty much done already.
and
Product just
it was pretty much all done, and it was just a promotional thing. They were doing it for the publicity. This is an alpha. This is, I think, closer to not finished than finished, as far as what they've got going on. So people need to take that into account with the Cold War stuff, the multiplayer stuff that's going on right now. But yeah, I mean, I don't know.
yeah.
It's Call of Duty. Really, the biggest thing is everyone's going to be interested in how it ties into ground Warzone.
Warzone, yeah.
Everyone's going to be interested in what they do with Warzone, how they tie it in,
Yeah.
how that shakes out. That's really the biggest draw. I mean, I will say there's a couple things, a couple nitpicks. Like when you watched it, like the bullets, like in motion after they shoot, like they seemed really long and really thick. Like I don't know, just it was like literally the first thing I noticed. Like I started watching and they started shooting, and I was like, those don't look right. Like I don't know. It just like obviously I know in like a game or like movies they always, in real life you don't see bullets like that.
Mhm.
But they always make it seem like you're shooting tracer rounds just so
Yeah.
you can see
See
the
where they
bullets
are.
and stuff like that. But I mean, and this could be another representation of it being, still not quite fully finished yet. But
Mhm.
yeah, the bullet, like you said, the tracer that you see on screen just seemed like really thick and really long, and I was just like, I was literally, oddly enough, it was like literally the first thing that I noticed when they started shooting, and I was just like, I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
It's
And so
bad.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I played the alpha on my
yeah,
PS4 on Friday.
I heard it's pretty rough on the PS4.
Yeah, I kept telling myself, thinking to myself, like it just I couldn't you can't really place a finger on it. It's just there's something about it that it just looks wrong and weird. But at the same time, like okay, I'm playing on my PS4. I'm used to playing COD on my PC, so obviously it'll probably look better on my PC. I'm not really gonna complain too much because I'm playing on my console. But I don't know, it did just I don't know, something just felt kind of off and weird. But I mean, it's
Yeah.
I will say though, the maps they give you so you play either 6v6 or you can do 12v12. There's three maps for 6v6, and all three maps were kind of nice. I kind of enjoyed the maps. Like the design were a lot better than any of the maps I feel like that came out in
Yeah.
Modern Warfare. So
Treyarch's always been really good with their map
yeah,
design.
like a lot of it's kind of back to three lane. I know some of the maps in Modern Warfare they try to get away from that for some reason, and it just turns into a clusterfuck, aka Piccadilly. Um,
Yep.
so I have high hopes for the multiplayer. If the maps I saw that you do some more of that, you bump up the graphics, this and that. I have kind of some high hopes for the multiplayer, and at the same time, I just enjoyed it personally because I was frying kids. I would drop like 30 kills every game, but that's just because I kept saying in my chat, like, this is because no one's sitting here grinding this game for 24
Well,
7
yeah.
or 7 and getting insane at it. New COD is the best COD because everyone is new and fresh to it, so it's fun
Yep.
for everyone. Once it gets a month or two in, everyone just sits in their basement playing it and gets insane while I gotta go to work and do human things, so I can't
Yeah.
get nuts at it.
Yeah. No, that's 100% true. I mean, that really is, anytime a new COD release, it's always great at the beginning and then just slowly whittles
Oh,
away
I
your
was having
soul.
yeah.
Because
I
like at
was
the
having a
very beginning of
blast
Modern
playing.
Warfare, even without Warzone, we were fucking killing it. We would love.
Yeah.
I loved multiplayer at the beginning. I was like, man, this is great. This is a lot of fun. And then and then Warzone came out, and we're like, oh yeah, that's a lot of fun too. And then we went back to multiplayer, and you're just like, oh god, this is cancer. It just kids just doing the dumbest things, people grinding for Damascus to sell their accounts, cheaters galore.
That's gonna be one thing that I'm sure we're gonna run into instantly
Yeah.
with Cold War is cheater problems. So we'll see.
So either way, it's Call of Duty. It happens every year, every 2 years. So this. I mean, there's really not much to expect, or not much out of the norm to expect. It's going to be a Call of Duty game. They're not really breaking the mold anytime they release one of these games. I mean, the newest greatest thing was Warzone, but now that's been out for a while, and now it's everything fitting into the mold of Warzone, for Call of Duty, because they've just struck gold with that. So that's really
I mean
the
that's what
biggest
this
thing.
game is gonna come down to anyways. Like, yeah, everyone's gonna enjoy the multiplayer for a little bit, but they're not gonna touch it that much. It's just gonna be how do you tie in with
Yeah.
Warzone? That's why I'm playing still. So tell me how.
So the next game that we saw was Deathloop. We saw this at the original PS5 event. This game looks pretty cool. It's sort of like a learning puzzle FPS, like fast-paced FPS game. Based on the voiceover during the playthrough or during the cutscene or what you were watching. Essentially, they said some lines like, each loop I learn more and more. It sort of makes it sound like you're gonna fail a lot, and you have to almost relive it, and you almost have to learn how to get your targets all in one spot to kill them all at the same time. Because he says at one point, he's like, I kill this target, but then this target ends up fleeing, even though they're completely unrelated, yada yada yada. So he's like, and then in what we saw in the trailer, he did something to get both targets together in one event. He's able to take them both out. So it almost seems like you've got to go around, try different methods over and over again, fail many times to basically learn how to get them to kind of do what you need to do to be able to break the loop, which is kind of cool. I mean, it's an interesting concept.
Cool take.
It looks cool. I mean, it's not anything like to blow your pants off as far as like graphics or realism, but it's a cool style. It's a cool art style. And
it's frustrating though, just kind of doing the same thing over
Yeah,
and over again, possibly.
but you've got him, and so you've got to kill your targets, and you've got to avoid the other assassin trying to kill you. So there's a couple layers as of now from what we've seen. So I mean, it looks interesting. I mean, it would be something I would be interested in playing for sure. So
definitely something when it comes out, I'm gonna see kind of like check Twitch, see how it plays.
Yeah,
playing it, check some reviews. But it definitely,
Come on, man, play a game that you love playing. Who cares about Twitch?
When I saw the prior release on the other event, it caught my interest a little bit. So now that we're getting more bigger picture of what it's gonna be like, it's definitely still something that I be interested to try.
Yeah,
a nice little kind of a new take on things.
It does look fresh. I mean, compared to like other FPS games or other like kind of learning games, like learning puzzle games, it
kind it just the sounds of it kind of reminds me of something like Prince of Persia, where you kind of
Sort
go and
of,
do something you fail.
which
Which, speaking
they're
of which,
remastering.
they're gonna make a
Or
new one,
really
or
making new ones. Yeah, I don't know. Remastering is
so.
probably not the best term. I think they're going to start a
Yeah, I
new.
think they're gonna start fresh. I think
Yeah.
the series is getting like a, can't remember what they
Which
said
I'm
either.
super
So
stoked about because I mean at
yeah,
the beginning of quarantine when we did that episode of games you should play while you're in quarantine, the older Prince of Persias were on that list. If you guys
first
haven't
game was
listened to,
so much fun.
oh yeah, if you guys haven't listened to that episode, go back. I think it's like episode 16 or 17. It's crazy to think that was like over half our podcast ago. We're on episode 31 right now, so over half our podcast has been in quarantine. So yeah, the original Prince of Persia game was fantastic. It was like one of the first games that got me into kind of that style, the Tomb Raider, Prince of Persia, the Uncharted, the Assassin's Creed style of game. Yeah, and I loved it. So, there obviously that wasn't teased at all at the PS5 event. It's been in the news. Yeah. So honestly, the game that I was most not surprised about, but the game that I think did the most for me was Demon Souls. Like watching that preview, they made that game. That game looks pretty much perfect already. I mean, it looks really good. The sound design is amazing. Like all the different sounds you make when you're walking on different materials, like gravel, rock, dirt. You can hear all the sounds of your armor moving and stuff like that. Like they put in a ton of detail into this game, and it was very noticeable because it was a unique presentation where there was no talking, there was no voiceover, there was no nothing. It was just watching you go through and fight different people in these different areas. So it just gave you all the real basic information you need to know about a game, kind of like right up front without giving you any of that extra filler, which I also sort of appreciate. So I was very impressed with the Demon Souls game just because it does look so polished, and I think it's one of the better representations of the next gen, capabilities.
I mean, I saw a post, someone like put up comparisons of like pictures of the bad guys and then in this new one coming out compared to the older one like 2009 something like that, and the graphic difference is insane. Everything looks amazing. It's probably just based on the fact, like you said, this is like a game that's kind of pretty much ready to roll out as soon as the console comes out. So this is probably one of the trailers that we got that is basically a straight up finished project, and it's just waiting to wait. So looks good, but I don't know how much
I'll say it looks great. I've never played any of those games. I never played Demon Souls. I never played any of the Dark Souls games.
I don't think I did either.
So like, although it looks great, that's cool, and that means something from the prospective buyer from the outside looking in. But at the same time, I don't know enough about the games to say, I want to buy it because of X, Y, and Z. Like I'm just looking kind of very superficially at the game. I mean, but at the same time, the attention to details to those things that are that you would consider more superficial kind of give you hope that they put a lot of attention to the game as a whole. If you do the small things right, you're going to do the big things right, and they've done really well with the small things. So my guess is the big things are going to be done really well too, which means that the game is probably going to be very polished, and it's going to run very well, and it's going to look great, and it's going to be a classic Dark Souls, Demon Souls game, because those always go off pretty well. Like there's a very loyal fan base for those games.
Yeah, I'm like watching the trailer again just real quick, and it just looks nice. It is at like 4K 60 FPS, and it looks smooth and really nice. So it's good to see people putting out good product. I like that.
There was a time in this current generation where all the rage was to release a game that was like 3/4 finished and then do a massive like 100 gig fucking day one patch update. Looking at you, Anthem. So it's nice to see that. I think the consumers, we've done enough to slap the developers in the face, like, hey, we can't really do that anymore.
I want a full game.
I know. I want a full finished fucking game. Right when you release it, add things to it if you want after that, but don't basically release it and then fix it to make it whole a week later. So, and then the final game, not the final game, but I didn't document some of the games that was shown. So one of the last games I
I
remember
was gonna
seeing.
say I got one I wanted to mention you put
Oh
on the
yeah,
list, so
no.
continue though.
Oh, well, you do yours first, because
No, this is the best one, man.
but-
God of War 2,
Oh,
dog.
that-
God
yeah.
of War Ragnarok
I
got
was-
like teased, announced.
yeah.
So
I was gonna do that too. I forgot.
sure.
Yeah.
That is the best one. That's
It
what I was
is.
waiting for. Dude, I love PlayStation's give me what I want. The first thing they said, I said either give me God of War or give me Horizon Zero Dawn 2. They did that, and now the second one they're giving me God of War 2. They're just
2021.
hitting me with the games I want, baby.
Yep. No, that was a pretty. You know,
We didn't get
it
anything
didn't just
stoked.
end. Yeah, you just kind of got the basically like
You
the
get the
logo.
God of War
Yeah.
symbol and runes and shit like that, and you got him talking. That's all we got, but that was enough
But
for
it
me.
was it was pretty big. I was like, oh yes. So no, we'll go from the high, and I guess we should have done it the other way. We'll go from the high to go to the low. Yeah, that's true. Fortnite, like, who the fuck cares? Like, if Fortnite is selling your console, then you've done something wrong. Like,
yeah, I didn't see this part in the thing. Like, how are they sell
they
this?
just
Like,
they
hey,
just like
Fortnite's on the
it just
PS5.
brought it
thumbs
out.
up?
Yeah, they were like, Fortnite will be coming to the PS5, and it's like,
No, duh.
who the fuck cares? Like, I don't
So
care.
Is it just like
Yeah,
enhanced
it's just
graphics? I
Fortnite.
assume.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming. I mean, I don't know how much Epic can do to add it. I mean, I just literally they're just porting it to the PS5. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, who cares? Like, I just like Fortnite. I wouldn't say is dead, because it's not, but it's not the game it was. You know, once
Feels
was.
dead, but it's still there.
Yeah, it feels dead comparatively because of how big it was before. So yeah, I like Xbox didn't add this into their event. It's definitely coming to Xbox Series X and Series S, and they didn't add it in. So it's like who cares? Just like, it's my mind. It's like, who cares? Leave it out. We didn't need to see it. It's not going to sell the console. I mean, if there are 14-year-olds out there like, I don't know if I can get the PS5 because Fortnite won't be on it. It's like, then they don't deserve to be gaming.
I mean, you're not wrong. That could definitely be a valid point where kids were like maybe emailing Sony back, can I get my Fortnite skins on the PS5 or what? And so they're fuck. Why
I would have, if I was an executive at
knew?
Sony, I would email them back and be like, well, you care about you care about Fortnite, and it means you can't be gaming.
I just reply back, figure it out. That's all you say is figure it out. That's yeah. Right. That to me is kind of pretty much along the lines of Tetris that was announced at the Xbox showcase thing. Like, whoop-de-doo,
Basically,
Tetris.
Yeah. I mean, same idea for the most part. So we got next gen prices. That's kind of the big thing, I think, for me at least, because it's pretty telling. It's got essentially, you've got the PS5 and the Series X. So PS5 non-digital version, the actual disc version, and the Xbox Series X are both sitting at $499.
These are the top tier ones,
yeah,
like the highest one possible.
And that's got all the features, everything, all the bells and whistles that are coming to the next generation. They're all in that $499 package, which is sort of surprising. A lot of things we had seen sort of hinted at the PS5 being more expensive based on like supply shortages, them struggling to source the parts, and even like, you know, it almost made it sound like they're basically not going to make any profit in the first few years because they're selling the PS5 units at cost, almost like what it costs them to make. So that's sort of surprising, but you know, it may be a little bit of a nod to Xbox for bringing the pain, and you know, PS5 maybe wanted to charge more, but they realized what Xbox was offering. They had to price equal to Xbox.
They were at a massive stalemate for a while. Like no one would announce it because each other's like, what are you gonna do? I don't know what you're gonna do.
So there's that.
Not a bad price there. I mean,
no, it's not a bad price.
$500 is like the price of a 3070 if you're talking graphics cards.
Yeah,
and it's a nice card there. So like you're talking PC to console stuff, it's good prices.
No, that's true for sure. And I think you know, I think those are going to sell. Obviously, they're going to be the diehard enthusiasts that want, you know, those consoles. Those will sell. Honestly, myself personally, the next two, the Series S and the discless, the all digital version, I think those are going to sell better. I know there's a huge following for people who like the discs and they like to collect the cases and stuff like that. But me personally, and I have to imagine there's more people like myself out there, or else I'm a real interesting human being. I don't really care about that. I want as little space as possible, taken up by my gaming stuff, and having an all digital console accomplishes that goal. So I did mention that I think the Xbox Series S at $299, which is what the price of that is going to be the best selling console of this generation. But honestly, I think the PS5 digital is a better value because you're getting the 4K graphics, you're getting the higher FPS, you're basically getting a PS5, no watered down hardware, but you're just not getting the disc. It's all digital. So for $399, that's a hell of a deal. Like, that's really good.
Yeah, Carl and I originally were gonna go with the digital one just because we thought the same thing. Like, why not just save some money?
Yeah.
And get the pretty much same thing. But we think we might get one with a disc just because it is backwards compatible, and we do have a few PS4 games that we haven't finished or still do play at the moment. So we don't want to have have two consoles sitting around. So I was like, how about just get a PS5 with a disc so we can just slide it in there.
And the additional thing to keep in mind with the disc version is that hard copy versions of games usually go on deeper sales than digital versions. You get better deals and better sales on discs than you do on digital. So there's that to keep in mind too. But I still, me personally would still lean towards a digital version just because I don't really have the space for all those discs like anywhere storage wise.
No, I agree.
So yeah, I honestly do think that $399, like, I think they'll sell more of the. I don't know. I would like to think, or not would like to think. I do think they'll sell more of the PS5 digitals just because of that reason. The people who are spending $500 on a console, they're probably not all that worried about game price, so they're not necessarily looking for the super discounted prices in games, so they're okay paying the $60, $70 outright. And it, like I said, it gets you all the equivalent hardware, all the equivalent performance of a PS5 at $399, which is like Xbox 360, maybe it was $399. The Xbox One was definitely like $399, somewhere around there, $350, $399. So you're getting the 4K, all that, all that power of the next gen for the price of like what the current gen was.
Yeah, I was always curious. Like, I didn't know if there was any difference between the digital or the non-digital, or if it's.
They haven't said.
It's just strictly disc tray, right?
Yeah, because you're cutting out a Blu-ray player essentially, which is $100.
Yeah,
you buy a good Blu-ray player on the market, standalone, it's $100 for a Blu-ray player.
So yeah, that's insane. You get the same exact thing just without disc. Whereas the Xbox Series X and then the Xbox Series S, which is still good value, but it's diluted.
And I've also heard that there's going to be a Series V or something like that, where it's a discless version of the Xbox Series X. I don't know. I don't know how true that is. I've heard that. I heard the
so many series. Come on, the branding is still just kind of.
Well, it's Xbox. Like, that's what the new console is, just Xbox. So the Series X and the Series S are like the sub.
It's just okay. Yeah. Here's Xbox.
Yeah, exactly. And then the Series S. So the Xbox Series S, like I mentioned, it's $299. I do think that this is going to be the best-selling console this generation between both, simply because, it seems like a no-brainer. $300, 1440p, high refresh rate. There are a vast majority of people out there, like I would say 90% of the people out there, do not have 4K capable monitors or TVs that can do high refresh rates. So you're losing a lot of that. What you're paying for, you're losing a ton of what you're paying for by not having that capability to play at those levels. So I think having the 1440p be the benchmark, which is much more accessible for most people, keeping the high refresh rates, ditching the disc, whatever it is, what it is. I think that's all of those things are going to make the Series S a better bet, more more appetizing deal to most people.
100%. Yeah, like some people definitely don't even have the setups for the top portions of the Series X, so that why not just go cheaper and get that? And I'm also excited for, like, I know how we're talking about if Elder Scrolls only comes to the Xbox, I'm gonna want an Xbox to play it. So the fact that they're selling a cheaper version of a really still strong, powerful machine, obviously that's the one I would go with is the cheaper Xbox Series S. So for me, if anything comes out that I really want and it's only on Xbox, I'm excited that they have this cheaper option because obviously that's the one I'll get because I
Yeah.
don't have to go spend $500
I
on
mean,
the big brain stuff.
yeah, and 4K, like 4K monitors that are over 60 hertz are an arm and a leg right now. Like it
Oh yeah,
costs
God.
million fucking dollars, almost $1,000 for like a 4K monitor that could even do 100 FPS. So it's such a this next generation console is pretty much ahead of the display technology we have currently, or not we have the technology, but it's ahead of like the common consumer purchases for that level of stuff. So it's a tough ask to be like, hey, spend $500 on a console, but you don't even have the equipment
Spend
to
another
use it
$500
fully.
on a monitor.
Well, yeah. So it's like if I can buy a 1440p, 140, 150, maybe even 160 hertz monitor for $250 and a Series S for $300, you're $50 over what you'd pay just for the console alone for the Series X, and you've got the better resolution than 1080p and high refresh rates. You've got everything you need. And I mean, most streamers you watch, most competitive players, all tournaments, they're all done on either 1440p or 1080. Like
Yeah, a lot of big streamers just
yeah,
swear by 1080 anyway.
because it's
like they don't even go up that
you're going to get the best
high.
performance at that point. I mean, for high, fast twitch FPS games, 1080p or 1440, if you have a powerful rig, that's the best option because you get the best performance, you get the highest FPS. It's better for quickly spotting enemies and shooting. You don't want to be lagged down. There's not a whole bunch of input lag or anything like that. So yeah, I mean, I think that all of those things put together, I do think makes the Series S, and the fact that it's quite a bit smaller than the Series X and the PS5, it's going to take up a whole lot less real estate. I definitely think all of those things kind of key into making the Series S the best option available, and I think it's going to sell the best. I mean, even for parents, I want a new Xbox. Parents are going to go out and they're going to say, oh, 500, 300, like what? I don't know.
I might start some fights though. I might start some fights if
Maybe.
you come home and give them that, like, Ma, it's not the one I wanted.
Yeah, but I mean, these spoiled shit's got to realize it's it is what it is. Like, so, I think, all of those reasons kind of play into why I do think that the Series S will be the best selling console on the market, in the next couple of years. I definitely feel that way, and it's all there. It's all there, it's easy to look at and see, like, well, that's sort of a no-brainer, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so.
Unless 4K technology gets extremely cheap in the next 2 years.
Unless it just all of a sudden you get cheap monitors or something like that.
So,
yeah, I agree. I mean, most people probably just be playing at 1080 anyways. Might as well just get the cheaper one, smaller, more compact, fits better, and still a great rig. So I don't see why not. But yeah, I agree. I think that would be the best selling one. I think maybe out of all of them, like Xbox and PS5, this might be one of the most high selling ones
I
possible.
mean, this might even rival like the 360 as far as like total, like 360 is one of the better selling consoles, like of all the systems in the history of like of
Though
this
I
kind
will
of
say,
war.
I guess it still comes down to exclusive. Like,
I mean, it does to an extent.
you gotta give me a reason to buy the Xbox because I'm already
Yeah.
saying I'm not gonna buy one until there's a game that I need it for. So I guess I'll take back my wording a little bit. It'll be the better selling option for Microsoft, but I still think PS5 from what I see will sell better overall.
Yeah, we'll see. November 10th for the Xbox. So does the 9 days of usage give Xbox any sort of leg up? We'll see. I mean, it is like almost 2 weeks essentially of units being out there. I mean, PS5, we talked about it a little bit at the beginning. The pre-orders are crazy, and we've been told that there's shortages, and it's going to be, I mean, I just think the total number of units on the market are going to be less for the PS5 than the Xbox. So I think that's
They
also
have
going to
put
hurt.
posts out saying that they plan to have more soon too, though. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
See.
Hopefully they restock because I want one.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, so it's interesting. Everything, we've been obviously watching it from the inception, from when we got the leak of the Xbox Series X at the Gamescom event, or whenever that was, the gaming awards, and so we've been basically following it ever since. And everything's shaped up. We have everything now. I mean, realistically, on paper, the Xbox Series X is the more powerful console. Game-wise, the PS5 has it. Price-wise, the two top ends are pretty similar. And then, you basically have to choose between a 4K version or 1440p for the lower end version. So, I mean, it's got a bit of something for everyone, I would say, between the two consoles. Like, if you just realize, like, hey, there's no war, everyone's just gaming. You know what I mean? Like, it's gaming is gaming. Consoles are what they are, whatever you want them to be, especially with crossplay being so prevalent. You've got an option for mostly everybody at every kind of step. If they're really, really inexpensive but still very powerful, you've got the step up, like really, still very, much the step up more powerful, and then you've got basically the two big daddies at the top.
Yeah, you got plenty. You got like 3 tiers basically: 300, 400, 500. So
there's a lot of
all
fucking
good
choice.
options. Yeah. Now, if only we all didn't have to have the verses and everything. We all have the same games on the same consoles. We'd have no issues. But
yeah,
a lot of options out there for everyone. So it's shaping up for a real interesting holiday.
It is gonna be pretty cool. I mean, I'm interested to see the bundles too. It'd be cool to see any bundles that they're gonna put together.
That could be key also to the start of the console race. Like, what bundles are you gonna give me come the holidays? Like, what games you're gonna give me, or accessories are you gonna give me? So that can, I mean, like with Xbox, since if the Series S you're selling for like $300, it's gonna be cheaper. You can maybe then stack a lot more accessories on it, and then I kind of raise it to that 500 price, where people are like, okay, I can go 500 for the big guy, or go 500 for the little guy, but with a camera, a game, an extra controller, like
it's
kind of
couple games, an extra controller, external hard drive maybe. Yeah, Microsoft could do a lot of things with it for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
So cool. I mean, I think that pretty much wraps it up, unless you've got any additional things, burning things on your mind.
No, I just wanted, nothing, just besides the talk and just how that would shape up the races is all I really want to talk about a lot, and we got through that and everything else. So I think so.
Cool. Yeah, I mean that's covered a lot, so there's a lot.
Or I guess we're all gamers. We're all struggling because also for you PC gamers, 3080s were also like sold out everywhere. Those were the other day too.
Trying to get one of those was like trying to find a leprechaun.
Yeah, everyone's facing the struggles. PS5 sold out.
So I mean, Xbox
3080s sold out. Though so now far, Xbox apparently aren't sold out. Though,
Xbox is supposedly sitting on top, being like, we got. Oh, you want a console? We got consoles.
We got plenty of you. You want one? You need one. So, but yeah, we're all gamers are struggling trying to get what they want.
Yeah, and the 3070 hasn't even been released yet. I mean, that's what everyone mostly wants.
October 12th or 15th, something like that. I think so.
A couple weeks. A month or so. Less than a month. Yeah. So hey, we're all here. We're all struggling together. We're all gamers. We're all
not getting what we want.
Exactly. It's a tough life not being able to buy the really expensive equipment that you want. It's really hard. So that pretty much wraps it up. We just want to thank you guys. We do it at the end of every episode, but we're gonna keep doing it every episode we make. You guys are the reason we're here. We really appreciate all the support. Everything across all platforms, our social media, Twitch, YouTube, listening to the podcast on all your apps. Everything you guys do really means a ton to us, and it, I would say it's the reason we're here, because we do this even if no one was watching, but it definitely is a nice added bonus to have you guys along for this ride. If you guys are liking what you're seeing, liking what you're hearing, if you're listening to the audio only version, think about dropping us a follow on Twitter, YouTube, subscribe on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch. Hit us up on those platforms. If you really do, if you're head over heels with what we're making, so consider liking and rating and reviewing the Podchaser. All the links will be in the description of the episode. You can go to Podchaser. It's like the IMDb of podcasts, and you can rate and review there. So if you're, like I said, if you're just head over heels with what we're doing, rating and reviewing us there is really good. And then also letting people know, if you have close friends, family members that you think would be really interested in what we're doing, let them know. Drop them our info, where to find us. We're on all major podcast platforms, so it's pretty easy to find us. All that stuff's really important. It really helps. The socials for the show, Twitter and Instagram are just at W_key_podcast. The Twitch is also at W_key_podcast. So is the YouTube. So we're very consistent across all boards. It's pretty much just at W_key_podcast. Really easy to find. Mine is J Frosty at J_FR05TY for Twitter. Don't use it a ton. Honestly, I've been kind of slacking on the show's Twitter and Instagram recently too. So hopefully I pick that stuff back up. But thanks for all the support on all those. Matt, why don't you drop your socials as usual, and then we'll get the F out of here.
Technique, TECKNEEK on Twitter. Also, don't use a lot Technique TV on Instagram. Kind of want to use it more, but I guess the big one is twitch.tv/Technique. I stream Monday through Friday, basically 1 p.m. ish. I do have a YouTube also for like my streaming stuff, but I can't really. I guess just look for Technique. I was say it's not /Technique because it's all jumbled. Once they hit 100 subscribers, you get your own designated thing. I'm at like 39, so
let's bump those numbers up. You gotta pump those numbers up.
Go subscribe. I guess just look for Technique on YouTube and you should be able to find it. And or there's a YouTube link on my Twitch page, so that's the easiest way you can find it. But yeah, that's my shit.
Yeah, and I think basically if you're listening to this episode on your podcast app, the description has links to everything. All stuff related to the show and Matt's Twitch and Instagram and Twitter as well. So links are all there. Go ahead and check us out. Again, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being a part of this adventure. It's been a blast so far. We're going to keep chugging. 2 weeks to the next episode, so just keep that in mind. Keep your calendars marked. Other than that, we will catch you guys in the next episode.